All right, today we're diving into something truly incredible. One of nature's greatest engineering feats, the thoracic limb.
I mean, think about it for a second. How can a cat pounce with such agility, a horse gallop like the wind, and a bird just fly? They're all doing these wildly different things. So, what's the secret sauce? What makes it all possible?
Well, the answer is just, it's mind-blowing. Turns out they're all using the exact same set of bones. It's like they all started with the same Lego kit. Evolution just came in and acted like a master builder, tweaking, fusing, and reshaping those same pieces to create the perfect, unique tool for each animal's specific job.
So, here's what we're going to do. We'll start by looking at that shared blueprint. Then we'll see how it's been modified for carnivores, for big, heavy animals, for the super specialized horse, and even for flight. It's going to be a wild ride. Okay, first things first, let's establish that baseline. Every single animal we're talking about today, they all begin with the same fundamental toolkit of bones in their front leg, what we call the thoracic limb. So here's what's in the box. You've got the scapula, that's the shoulder blade, the humerus or arm bone, the radius and ulna in the forearm, and then all the little bits that make up the wrist and paw. Pretty simple, right? Okay, now for the fun part. Let's see how evolution gets creative with this basic set. All right, let's kick things off with the hunters, the carnivores. Think about a cat or a dog. Their whole life is about speed, agility, and flexibility. They absolutely have to be able to rotate their forearm to catch and hold onto prey. And to do that, you need a very specific piece of anatomy. And that key is the clavicle, the collarbone. Cats have a fully separate one, which is why they have that amazing shoulder rotation. Dogs, theirs is just a little leftover piece. But here's where it gets really interesting. Horses, cattle, pigs, they don't have one at all. It's just gone. And by getting rid of it, they've locked their leg into a simple forward and backward swing. They've traded that twisty flexibility for rock-solid stability. And if we zoom in even closer, we see these tiny but super important differences right on the humerus. The cat has this little passage, a supracondylar foramen, that basically acts as a protective tunnel for a key nerve and artery. The dog, on the other hand, has a different hole called the supratrochlear foramen. It's completely empty, but it's one of those dead giveaways that you're looking at a dog's humerus. This all points back to that hunter lifestyle. Check this out. In cats and dogs, the two forearm bones, the radius and ulna, are separate. They aren't fused together. And that is what lets them twist their forearm and paw, to supinate and pronate. It's absolutely critical for grabbing and holding on to dinner. So the main takeaway for carnivores? The blueprint is all about one thing: maximum rotation. It's a hunter's most vital tool. Okay, so we've seen agility. Now let's flip the script and look at animals where strength and stability are everything. For animals like pigs and cattle, their front legs have one massive job: holding up a ton of weight. And to handle all that bulk, their shoulder blades are shaped completely differently to anchor huge muscles. The pig, for example, has this really obvious bump on its scapular spine that gives its muscles incredible leverage. Cattle have this massive triangular scapula. It's like a giant sail providing a huge surface for all the muscles needed to support their heavy front end. Even the horse's scapula is shaped specifically for that powerful back and forth galloping motion. Now, remember how the carnivores kept their forearm bones separate for twisting? Well, these big guys do the exact opposite. They fuse their radius and ulna completely. This totally gets rid of any rotation, but what it creates is a single, super strong, pillar-like bone that's perfect for bearing weight. It's a classic evolutionary trade-off. The bottom line for these heavy animals is simple: forget flexibility, give me absolute rock-solid stability. And this idea of specialization? It gets taken to the absolute extreme with the horse. I mean, the horse is the ultimate speed machine. Every single part of its thoracic limb has been fine-tuned by evolution for one thing and one thing alone: moving forward really, really fast. And we're talking about even the tiniest details. On the horse's humerus, there's this unique little bump, the intermediate tubercle, that's perfectly placed to guide tendons and keep the shoulder joint stable during a full-out gallop. It's all about one thing: efficiency. No wasted movement, no wasted energy. But the most incredible story of specialization is what happens to the hand bones. If you start with a dog's five-toed paw as a baseline, you can literally watch evolution subtract pieces. The pig gets rid of digit 1 and shrinks down digits 2 and 5. Cattle take the two middle ones, 3 and 4, and fuse them into one solid bone. And then you have the horse, who just throws everything else away, keeping only one massive central metacarpal.
And that single, powerful bone is what we call the cannon bone. Think about that. All of the horse's weight, all the incredible force of a gallop, is focused through that one structure. It's the absolute peak of specialization for running. Evolution basically took a flexible, five-fingered hand and turned it into a powerful, spring-loaded pogo stick. The lesson from the horse is crystal clear. Efficiency is king, and the way you get there is by stripping the blueprint down to its strongest, simplest form.
All right, we've stayed on the ground so far. Now for the most radical redesign of the blueprint you can imagine. Birds. They took the very same bones you'd find in a dog's paw or a horse's leg and did something impossible. They repurposed them for the sky.
See, to handle the immense stress of flying, birds needed a whole new support system, a unique pectoral girdle. They have this super strong bone that we mammals don't, called the coracoid. It acts like a powerful strut, bracing the wing against the breastbone. And their two collarbones, they didn't get rid of them, they fused them together into one piece.
And that fused structure is the furcula, what we all know as the wishbone. But trust me, it's way more than just something to make a wish on. The furcula is an absolute marvel of engineering. It's a spring. With every wing beat, it flexes, storing and then releasing energy. It also acts as a perfect spacer, holding the shoulders at just the right distance apart so the wings can work with total efficiency. It's brilliant.
And there's one last little twist that I just love. In pretty much all the mammals we've talked about, the radius is the bigger, tougher bone in the forearm. But in birds, it's flipped. The ulna is the big, strong one. And why? Because that's the bone that has to anchor all those massive flight feathers, the ones that generate power on the downstroke. So for birds, it wasn't enough to just modify the blueprint. They had to completely reimagine it to conquer the air.
So after seeing all these incredible variations, from the cat to the cow to the bird, one single principle just shines through. And it's this: form always follows function. The exact shape, size, and arrangement of these bones is a perfect reflection of how that animal lives its life. It's just a stunning masterwork of adaptation. It proves that you can take one simple blueprint and create an almost endless variety of incredible designs. So the next time you see an animal run or pounce or fly, take a closer look. That front limb is telling you a story that's been written over millions and millions of years. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? If the front leg can tell us that much, what other amazing stories are hidden in the rest of the skeleton?